Alright, so these are my ingredients for today's mushroom and baby spinach risotto. So basically, all you're going to need is 40 grams of butter. I don't have butter, so I'm just going to use margarine. I have no shame. I've done it before, works just fine. And then 40 grams of olive oil and 320 grams of arborio rice. It has to be arborio rice. If you use other ones, you'll just end up with this gloopy mess. It's not a good look. Trust me on that one. I've tried a variety of different ones. Jasmine rice, basmati rice, and arborio is definitely the way to go with this recipe. Then you want some vegetable stock flavoring. So I've just got some pre-made vegetable stock flavoring here. And then you're going to need 200 grams of sliced mushrooms and then 700 grams of water. So these are the ingredients, and I'm going to get started on this Thermomix slash Bellini recipe, and I will show you the steps one by one. Here we go. Alright, so we have the garlic, butter, and olive oil inside the jug at the moment. And so what we're just going to do is melt the butter, and we'll just do that by putting this on 1 minute on speed 1, and we'll just put it to about I'll put it to about temperature 60 just to melt the butter. So that will be the first thing. We have the olive oil, butter, and garlic all mixed in there and melted. So I'm just going to add in my bowl of mushrooms and vegetable stock flavoring and then cook that. So I'll go ahead and dump that in now, and then I'll show you the next step. So before I put in the mushrooms and vegetable flavoring and stuff like that, I'm just going to put this 320 grams of arborio rice into the bowl and just mix it on speed 1 for about 1 minute, just to get everything all mixed in with the butter and oil and whatnot, just get it all completely coated, and then we'll get on to the next step. So hang on 1 second and then you'll see the next step. This is what it looks like now with just about everything in there. So you've got the garlic that I put in there at the very beginning, the butter and the olive oil, which I mixed together. I melted and mixed together with the measuring cup out. And then I put in the rice and got that basically all coated with the butter and garlic and olive oil. And then I put in the mushrooms and the water. So that's what you can see, it's filled it up basically to nearly the top here. And so now all I'm going to do is cook it for 18 minutes on 100 degrees at speed 1. So I'll just go ahead and show you that now. So like I said, depending on what machine you have, you might have to slightly tweak things, but I follow Thermomix recipes pretty much direction by direction. I've never had that much of an issue, so I wouldn't stress too much about it, in terms of working out how to convert recipes for various machines. If you have a Bellini, if you have a Smith and Nobel, if you have a Thermomix, I just follow Thermomix recipes. So there we go, we have 18 minutes, speed 1 on 100 degrees, and then they recommend that you just put the simmering basket on top. So it's just that little basket that comes with it that you can cook rice in. Just putting it on top so that the air can still come out, but it's just not splattering everywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and get my basket, and then I'll turn this on. So I will see you all, for me, in 18 minutes, and for you in about a split second. So this is the finished product. So this is the mushroom risotto. It's sitting on a bed of baby spinach on the bottom. So You can serve it with whatever you want. You can just leave it as a mushroom risotto and serve it as is. I just put some baby spinach in there to sneak some extra veggies in there. And then a lot of people like to sprinkle Parmesan cheese on top when they're serving it, and or mix it in. So this is the final product, and that's, it's a fairly large container. So that's going to be, several dinners right there. And there's still a bunch left in the jug, and so this is going to be my husband's and my dinner today. So I'm just going to put this into some bowls for us now, and we'll eat that. And then it's just needs to sit. Basically, this has just come out. It just needs to sit for about 5-10 minutes to really set, so that it's more of a gloopy goodness as opposed to a soupy goodness. So if it comes out and it still looks a little bit watery to you, that's how it's supposed to be. And I was going to show you that, but honestly, in the 30 seconds that I took to pour it into here, it's already kind of a gloopy mess. Here, I'll just see if I can show you a little bit. So you can see, like, along the top, it's still a little bit wet and runny, but it's slowly hardening into kind of a gloopier thing, which is how the risotto is supposed to be. So this is what it looks like when you're all done. I know risotto is not for everyone. I always thought I would hate it and that it'd be super gross because it just doesn't look all that appetizing necessarily when you look at it. But if you like rice dishes, if you like maybe curries, if you're a fan of mushrooms, you might like this. If you don't like mushrooms, you can easily do a chicken risotto, very similar recipe. Or just take out the mushrooms altogether and put baby spinach at the end, if you only like that. I think I put in some grated carrot in here once. So honestly, to each their own. Zucchini could probably even go in here. So just experiment around. I absolutely love this. It's so easy to make. This is about maybe 20 minutes of effort altogether. And most of that was just the machine doing the work whilst I watched TV. So that is the final product. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoy using your Bellini, Thermomix, Smith and Nobel, whichever machine you have. They're utterly fantastic. Love these machines, and this is pretty much how I managed to make relatively fancier dishes and more interesting dishes, but with a tenth of the effort of having, a million pots and pans and all these extra steps where to stand over the stove, for example, and stir. I don't have to do any of that. My machine does all of it for me. And what I'll do once I have all this taken out into a bowl for myself and my husband is I'm just going to add in a few squirts of dish soap and then water to about 3/4 of the top of the bowl. And then I'll just put it on 2.5 minutes, speed 1, 90 degrees Celsius. And what that will do is it will boil the water. It will spin the blades round and round. And it will throw the soap basically around and make it all sudsy inside and clean it for me. So all I'll do is I'll put that in there, and then once it comes out, I pour the water out, and then it's all clean. So easy dinner, minimal mess, and very easy to make. So I hope that was informative, and I hope you enjoy your future risottos. See you next time. Bye!